So you spend time in order to make the monies so you can do what you want to do. The end goal is what you want to do. But have you ever really thought, if the end goal here is what you want to do, why not instead go into a scenario where it's something like this? You spend time to just do what you want to do, and at the same time, you make money off of it. So in this scenario, you're able to do the end goal, what you want, all the time because you're making the money off of it. And you might be thinking right now, okay, this is obvious, right? The reason why you don't do it is because it's not easy. But is this common alternative scenario here any easier? Most people do this, right? You make money in isolation, so usually off some sort of job that you hate, some sort of suffering. Then you spend that money on what you want to do. But you're setting yourself up for a situation where the money and what you want is always separated. So you always have to spend time making money, and then you always have to spend whatever time you have left doing what you want. So you have to balance these things. You never are able to get as much as you want. You always have to spend time doing something miserable that you don't want to do to then do what you actually want to do. So it's pretty backwards, right? Why force yourself into a situation where you're literally doing what you don't want to do? Yet the problem is literally 99% of the population does this scenario. Not only does this scenario, but they literally strive to balance this suffering and what they want to do. Versus if you just find what you want to do first and then figure out a way to make money off of it, like right here, then you can do this all the time. You can do what you want all the time and never have to do anything else. And if this doesn't make sense to you and you want to keep your work-life balance, your suffer-life balance, then okay, you can click off this video and you do you, right? Because what I'm about to tell you will kill your work-life balance and instead make it so you have all life and no work. This is what I did, which is why I'm able to sit here in the middle of the work week, having quit my job, making videos on the internet for you, while everyone else is still grinding away. And I offer this information to you so you can do the same thing. But is this process going to be easy? No, it's actually going to be hard as fuck. Will you have to sacrifice a lot? Yes, you will. Will it take a long ass time? Like 3 years plus? Yes, it will. Will you hate the entire process? Yes, you will. But I guarantee you won't regret it, as I did not regret it. So, let me explain. As you might be thinking at this point, the most crucial question here is, well, how the fuck do you actually find this something that you want that also makes money? Or how do you get into this scenario? How do you find that one life pursuit that you can continuously work on? Well, the first thing is, usually what happens is when money right here comes into the picture, everybody gets all fucked up and overcomplicates the shit out of it. So here's what I mean. If you think about a ping pong, and let's say you really like to play ping pong all the time. You play it in every second of your free time that you want. You think about it all the time if you can. But you think to yourself like, oh fuck, I'm actually not that good at it. So, I can't go pro, so I can't make money off it. So this is just a hobby. Which lands you in this first scenario here where you have to get stuck balancing work and life. Versus the other scenario that you could have went through is you actually did try to make the money off it. So you're like, okay, fuck it. I quit my job. I'm going to go try to go pro. And you tell yourself like, oh, I'll give it 3 months. You give it the 3 months, you get no results, and then you're like, oh fuck, no results, this doesn't work, and then you go off and try to make money elsewhere, some quicker way, try to get some money quick, right? And literally plug in any skill here, like copywriting, sales, coding, design, whatever it is that you could possibly think of that makes money and something that you might be interested in. This is a pretty standard scenario, right? Both of these are very standard scenarios. They either become a hobby or you get no results, so you just stop doing it. But if you think about this completely differently and just 100% think of it in the lens of a hobby, like playing video games, for example. In this hobby scenario, saying that you can't make money off of it, it's like refusing to play the game correctly, refusing to actually engage in the correct gameplay. For example, if you bought a shooter game, you bought like, I don't know, Black Ops 3, you say, okay, I'm only gonna play the game using a knife. You're only gonna go around and knife people. Well, fuck. It is a shooter game. If you wanted a knife game, you would go buy a knife game. Going around with a shooter game with a knife is dumb as fuck, right? Why automatically think, oh, it's just for fun, therefore you can't make money off of it? Why not first think, what does money making really look like? What does the gameplay really look like? For example, in Black Ops, if you really wanted to play a shooter game, like you actually want to engage in that gameplay, well, do you want to play PvP? Do you want to play Black Ops Zombies? It's like if you want to be do you want to be a ping pong pro? Do you want to be a ping pong teacher? Could you be a ping pong course seller? Could you become a ping pong paddle maker? Are any of those actually fun? Could you turn that into the hobby that makes money? Like, sure, you like playing ping pong, but any of those money-making methods, the actual gameplay, the thing that makes profit, is that something that you'd be willing to do? The gameplay for a skill, your one life pursuit, is the work that makes the profit. If you don't like the real gameplay, the thing that makes the profit, it's not for you. You have to find something else. And in the scenario of, I'll give it 3 months and see if it works, this is like going into Black Ops. You play the game for 2 hours, like the Steam refund period, about 2 hours. And you're like, oh, if I don't get at least a 10-to-1 KDR, kill to death ratio, I quit. I'm refunding this shit. It's a bad game. What if you're refusing to give yourself enough time? You're always seeking quick results. You don't give yourself enough time to actually get good at the gameplay. Well, then of course you're not going to get the right results, right? Like a 2-hour period is not enough to get good enough at the game to get this 10-to-1 KDR, unless, I don't know, you spent time in other shooter games. But forgetting that for now, you shouldn't really be looking for in this, I'll give it 3 months and see if it actually makes money. You already figured out the gameplay, so then now you just have to, in the 3 months time, forget about money and just think about, is this actually fun? So in the ping pong scenario, you'd be like, oh, I'll give it 3 months to see if like selling ping pong courses is fun for you. If it's not fun, then you don't continue doing anything. If it is fun, well, then you keep engaging in that gameplay. And gameplay, of course, is the work required to profit. So to put it really simply, there's only 4 different types of life pursuits that you can go towards. And they categorize by fun and gameplay. On this end, of course, is no fun and no gameplay. So right here in this quadrant is just gameplay alone, no fun. This is what you call miserable fail. You just grind away and you end up in that like first scenario where you're just suffering all the time. And over here, where it's just fun alone with no gameplay, so no work to actually make profit, this ends up just becoming a plain old hobby. And in this really fucked up scenario right here, where you have no fun and no gameplay, like, well, this is just like, what the fuck? Like, why would you ever do anything in your life in that category? Then what you're really looking for, what you just have to really pay attention to, is first find the gameplay, so the work that makes the profit, and then make sure this is fun. And this is what you call a life pursuit. And once you find this life pursuit, you don't have to worry about time really. Because if you're putting in the work to actually make profit, and this is fun to you, you will put in the time in order to actually make this successful. And since it's fun, you'll also continuously engage. You'll try to learn more, which will make you improve your skills on the gameplay, which will create a cycle, which will again make you successful, actually make you profitable doing this thing, therefore doing what you want to do all the time. And if you want super simple, exact steps, basically like as if you're going to buy a video game, think about it. The first step to buying a video game is you just go on Steam, right? So the first step to getting a life pursuit is, in this day and age, you start and go on some sort of AI and you start some sort of chat. And then step 2 is in Steam, you would probably filter to whatever categories of game that actually interest you. So maybe shooter games or action games, strategy games, survival games, whatever it is that you want to do. In this case, you would go to AI and ask something like, I like XYZ. What are some money-making skills or money-making ideas that I could do based on these interests? So it could be like, oh, I like computers, I like fitness, I like ping pong. What are some skills that I could do to make money off of it? And you of course, ask the AI this. And step 3, in Steam, if you were to pick a game, after you've gotten your list of like whatever categories, you'd probably filter down on price. So only games within your budget. And in the case of a life pursuit, this is like picking the 3 to 5 skills that sound interesting that, the AI outputted, whatever, a whole list. And it's like, what are the 3 to 5 that don't require too much capital? So for example, if it requires a 100K device in order to get started, this is probably not for you, right? But say, if you do have the 100K and you're like, oh yeah, this is pretty good, then okay, this is for you. So now on to step 4. With your 3 to 5 games, you probably want to start looking into the description and the actual gameplay of the game. So like, how does the game actually work? What does the description say? Like, what is the different modes of the game that you could play? Which one is actually really fun? And in the case of a life pursuit, this is where you genuinely, you also look at the gameplay. What is the work that makes the profit? Does that seem interesting to you? What are the specific skills or modes you could play with that particular skill? Like again, if it was ping pong, it would be like selling courses. Could you be a coach? Could you go pro? And the way you do that is probably like you watch some tutorials or you read. And of course, you can also just keep conversing with AI. And at this point, you'd probably filter down to 1 to 3. Now with your 1 to 3 games, you just go into step 5, which is very simply just picking one game. You pick one game that you actually want to play. So same exact thing. You pick one. And you don't have to commit this forever, right? You're just picking this first one to start. You're picking the first one to actually try. Because this will be your sort of, in step 6, your refund period. In Steam, you have those like 2-hour refund period. In real life, what I think is best is a 2-week refund period. So you try the actual gameplay. So for example, if you wanted to become a designer, you start doing design work. If you want to become coding, you at least, you maybe watch some tutorials and actually try it. And is this actual gameplay fun within the 2 weeks? If it's fun, then you keep going. If it's not fun, just like the game, you refund. And you maybe try another one of those 1 to 3 that you filtered down to in the earlier step. And of course, if all of these fail, if all your 1 to 3 games fail, then you can just start again at step 1, ask AI, input some like, oh, these are my interests, and eventually get a skill filtered down and give it another 2 weeks try. But you might be thinking right now, what about pleasure? What if you actually want pleasure all the time? 100% pleasure. Like you always want to beat your meat 24/7. You want to play video games 24/7. Well, like I said in the beginning, what is the alternative? If you wanted to do this all the time, you would be forced to do some miserable work. Like, I don't know, you would work at McDonald's to get a couple of bucks so you can afford a computer and internet to beat your meat all day. There's a clear separation between the fun and the work. But you can solve this problem. You can actually have the pleasure still as your life pursuit. And let's just say, with the example of beating your meat all day. Actually, maybe let's upgrade a little bit. Let's have the life pursuit of clapping cheeks all day long. But you don't actually make profit doing just clapping cheeks all the time, which means it can't be your life pursuit. That means you have to do some other work. This becomes that first scenario that we don't talk about. Let's call this scenario 0. You'll just end up clapping cheeks with anxiety, so it's not that enjoyable. So at least the better alternative is to find some other life pursuit. So let's say you also like coding or something. Well, then you can do that life pursuit. At least it's somewhat enjoyable, and then you can go clap your cheeks. You're balancing a little bit, but it's instead of balancing miserable and fun, you're balancing slightly fun and more fun. Or you can do into the best scenario, which is actually turn clapping cheeks into your life pursuit. You can see, even if pleasure is your end goal, there's something that you want to do all the time, 1 and 2 are always the better option. 0 is never the best option. And how you get into both of these scenarios is literally just doing the same steps. Like, sure, you could have a pleasure, do the same exact steps as I talked about here. You ask AI, like, oh, I like clapping cheeks all day, what skills I could do to make money? And you know what the AI is going to tell you? Well, the AI is literally going to tell you, like, well, what is the gameplay for clapping cheeks? You start an OnlyFans or something, you can clap cheeks all day long and actually make money off of it. Sure, like, okay, maybe there's some requirements to it and you can't actually do it, but that's the gameplay, right? Maybe find something else, like you'll be the cameraman. But honestly though, I think it's really quite rare that your end goal, your pursuit of your life is genuinely pleasure. I don't think anyone really is like this. What you really want is this. So imagine the scenario. You could do whatever pleasure that you want without worry at all. You had infinite money. You had every need taken care of you. And let's say you really like to play League of Legends. So you're able to play League of Legends all you want. Every single minute of the day you could play League of Legends. You have all the food that you want and anything you could want. But the only thing you could do is play League of Legends. So you have nothing else. You have this one pleasure. Would you enjoy this? You probably wouldn't, right? You would get bored of playing League of Legends eventually, even though it's something that the most enjoyable thing that you want to do. Because pleasure without worry, without needing money, is not what you really want. You don't even want the money itself. You just want all the things the money could give you, not any particular thing. Because particular things you usually just get bored of. What you really want is just options. But the problem is you actually have to do the hard gameplay of a skill in order to get the money to have the options. And on top of that, the options that you have now. So you could go clap cheeks, you could go play video games, you could go beat your meat, you could go watch anime. The options that you have now are so appealing, so distracting, that it blocks you from doing the gameplay, the hard gameplay, enough in order to become a master at it. And this blocks you from the more plentiful, more enjoyable pleasures that you could have once you become a master at something. So how do you overcome this? Well, Think about this. You're riding a bike. Let's say you're not really paying attention too much. You ride the bike, eventually you fall off and you get a super insane road rash. Like you're raw all the way on the side of your body. Or you pay a little bit more close attention. Like you're very vigilantly watching the road, making sure there's like no sand where you can slide and get fucked up instead of like staring at your phone or some shit. Is it easier to get the road rash and then now have to heal up? Or is it easier to just pay a little bit of attention and just maintain your healthy skin, the non-road rash skin? It's obviously a lot easier to maintain than reverse the damage, right? Or think about a scenario like this. Think about being insanely obese like this, or just being jacked. Is it easier to go from obese to jacked, or just stay jacked in the first place? So it is much harder to reverse damage versus maintain health. It is much harder to reverse degeneracy than it is to maintain mastery. So you need to push for a state that you can maintain, and that means you get to a point of mastery, and let's just call it 10,000 hours for one skill. For sure, this is going to take that 3 to 5 years that I mentioned. And the reason why that is because if you literally just lay it at the math, let's say you have to do 10,000 hours and you divide it by 6 hours. Let's say you can at least put in 6 hours per day, 7 days a week. Well, that ends up being 4.5 years to become a total master. And of course, if you dedicate more time to it, like you do 10 hours a day, 365, then maybe you can get something closer to the 3 years to become a full master. And by engaging in the gameplay, so like, what is this 6 hours? It doesn't necessarily mean 6 hours you're grinding every day or 10 hours you're grinding every day. Most likely, you can't actually grind for that entire amount of time, right? Like you're going to get tired of something, you're going to burn out, which is not good. So you're resting, you're learning, and then there's the part where you're actually doing the work. You're probably actually only doing the work for maybe 2 to 4 hours per day. That's probably your peak performance time when you have the most energy. The rest of the time you can do the learning, you can do the resting, so you can get ready to work for the next day. And this all counts because in your unconscious mind you're probably thinking about this skill a little bit. But either way, you spend the 3 years, and I'm sure you will be god tier at whatever gameplay that you chose, whatever skill that you chose. I'm sure you will be able to make money because you are god tier, and you will be able to do whatever the fuck that is you want to do, knowing that you have the skills to make the money, to give you the options, the many more pleasures if you want them. Although you might be thinking, this all sounds great, right? But how the fuck do you actually push through those 3 to 5 years in the first place? If you can't push through, well, shit, you know, you're gonna be stuck. Well, there's really only 6 common problems that I uncovered for myself, which stops you from pushing through those 3 to 5 years. It is 1, I'm too tired. 2, I'm not feeling it. 3, I have no time. 4, I keep getting distracted. 5, I don't know what to do. And 6, I need money now. And we can actually break these 6 common problems down into just 3 categories, and then each of those categories will have its own solution. That's very simple. And the categories are like this. You have these first 2 here, which are what you call motivation problems. You have the second 2, which are attention problems. And you have the last 2, which are just proficiency problems. In order to cure a lack of motivation, all you have to do is what I call C. This is straight up sleep, eat, and exercise. If you do that, you will no longer feel tired. You'll have the motivation to keep on working because you have abundant energy. You'll be able to just put in the work. 99% of a motivation problem is just not enough energy. And just tacking onto the C, you can have calming things like a walk in nature, just talking to real people, like in person, just talking in a non-degenerate setting, meditation, stretching, all restorative tasks to get your energy back up, which will then get your motivation to do things, make you actually feel like doing it. And in your intention problem, so no time and distracted, the solution is to uncover. This is literally just picking one distraction, whatever distraction that you don't really enjoy. Like, let's say you play League of Legends and it makes you like frustrated at the end, you know it does, but yet it takes up most of your time. So you target this one distraction, keep doing the rest of them, like keep watching anime, whatever it is that you do, and you get back, you uncover this specific time, which gets you just that much more undistracted, have that much more time. Like play League of Legends 8 hours a day, well, you got 8 hours now. And maybe some of that will get eaten up by some of the other distractions, but you got a significant chunk of time back, and just by focusing on one, which makes it much more effective. Uncover. And the solution for the proficiency problem is to explore. It's straight up. You try shit. You learn any way that you can. Of course, the traditional learning methods, like you just watch some videos or whatever, they don't make money. So you're like, oh fuck, I need money. And I don't know what to do to make money. So you get distracted doing random other shit that to try to make quick money. But why not just get a job that pays you to learn a skill that you're interested in? Like if you like design, well, get a job at a design agency. There's so many opportunities like this. Like you don't actually need a business for a skill. There's many other applications to a skill. Like if you want to do sales, even if you have to get a McDonald's job or like get a job at any shitty ass store counter, like you're at a Walmart and you're the cashier. Well, there's a whole bunch of like packs of gum and shit. You could try to upsell the customer. It's like, oh, you want some gum? You're like, oh, it looks like you bought some candy. You know, maybe some gum would go good with that, right? Use your sales skills. Develop the skills in any way that you can. Is exploring. And what will happen is now you will be able to see, uncover, and explore the map of your life, the map of your true gameplay, your life pursuit. Although this is very high level, right? Only really the strategy to get to your life pursuit. A bird's eye view of the map. If your brain is super fucking cooked right now, it might be harder to get started on the strategy in the first place. If you want a step-by-step guide on how to actually get started, even if your brain is cooked, watch this video next on how I revived my focus from being dead.